Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you this morning with a mail haul, a little bit of a book haul. These are books that I had acquired from the last couple of weeks, and the majority of these were actually given to me by my good friend Peg over at the History Shelf. If you'll remember from previous videos, my family had went out to Colorado, and I was able to meet up with Peg while I was out in Denver, and so the mail haul portion of this actually isn't mail haul. It'd probably be more of a book haul, but I'm gonna put it as mail haul because she was gonna send it in the mail, and I just said, don't send that. Just give it to me while we're there. You know, it'd be silly to spend money you don't need to spend. So anyway, she was very kind in giving some books to me, and I'm very excited about these. I've already read one of them, and it was pretty good. So let me go ahead and get started with this. So the first book on the stack is the one that I've already read, and this is by Bret Baier with Catherine Whitney as the co-writer, and it is To Rescue the Republic, Ulysses S. Grant, The Fragile Union, and the Crisis of 1876. And this is actually an advanced reader copy. This book comes out on October 12th this year, so the day before my birthday. And so I was able to pick this up from Peg. Good book. It basically goes through a general history of Ulysses S. Grant and his role in American history, from his youth all the way through serving in the Mexican War, to the peacetime army, to the Civil War as president, and then on into the end of his presidency with the crisis of 1876, when we had basically a tie for the presidency, and some finagling that had to be done in order for the election to come off without another civil war breaking out. And so, excellent book. Does a good job of showing Grant's leadership skills. We definitely could argue that Grant had some issues during his presidency with just people that he picked as cabinet members and important people around him. Sometimes he was a little too loyal to some of the people around him, but Grant himself was free from most all blemishes. It was mainly the people around him. But anyway, goes through, tells that story on, he did have those issues, but for the most part, he was always concerned about the Union, always concerned about keeping the country whole without having any more death after that Civil War, without having any more death if possible. And so he was able to, Bret Baier points out, basically able to, through brokering this deal, of course he really wasn't involved in it, but he did give the okay to broker the deal to prevent a second Civil War from breaking out. But anyway, good book. Highly recommend it when it comes out. Go get the book, buy it, check it out. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Second book in the stack that Peg gave me is by Eric Metaxas. It's called Miracles: What They Are, Why They Happen, and How They Can Change Your Life. And so she thought maybe I'd enjoy this. And if you didn't know, Peg is getting ready to move out of her place that she lives in now, and she wants to buy a home. And so she is cleaning out her books, and so that's why she sent these on to me. And this is one of them that she culled the herd. And so let me read the inside cover to you, so you get an idea of what this book is about. It says, what are miracles, and why do so many people believe in them? What do they tell us about ourselves, and what do we do with experiences that we cannot explain? In Miracles, Eric Metaxas offers compelling, sometimes electrifying evidence that there's something real to be reckoned with, whatever one has thought of the topic before. Miracles is also a timely, thoughtful, and civil answer to the books of the new atheists, Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, and Sam Harris, who have passionately asserted not just the impossibility of miracles and the supernatural, but the outright harmfulness of belief in them. Metaxas, whom ABC News has called a witty ambassador for faith, provides the measured and wide-ranging treatment the subject deserves, from serious discussion of the compatibility between faith and science to astonishing but well-documented stories of actual miracles from people he knows. A more current, anecdotal, and personal version of C.S. Lewis's 1947 book on the subject, Miracles, is a powerfully winsome challenge that miracles are not only possible but are far more widespread than most of us might have ever imagined. And so I look forward to digging into that. And so let's move on to the next one. This is a work of fiction by Jeff Shahara, and it is a novel of the Battle of Shiloh, A Blaze of Glory. So I don't think I'm going to read the inside cover because basically the title gives it away, a novel of the Battle of Shiloh. So Jeff Shahara has a whole bunch of fiction books out over different topics, and I have been, if you followed the channel, I've been picking those up one by one as I find them, and so Peg was able to add to that collection. Nice hardbound copy. Next book, work of nonfiction, it's called Berlin 1936, Fascism, Fear, and Triumph Set Against Hitler's Olympic Games by Oliver Hilmes. This is going to be good. She knows I like sports, so history and sports all combined in one, and very excited about that. This is, I guess I haven't been telling you the years these are out. This is from Other Press out of New York, and it is a, let's see here, 2016 book. And I'm really looking forward to this. It says, I'll read the back cover here, it says Berlin 1936 takes the reader through 16 days of the Olympic Games, describing events in the German capital through the eyes of a select cast of characters. Nazi leaders and foreign diplomats, sportsmen and journalists, writers and socialites, nightclub owners and jazz musicians. While events in the Olympic Stadium, from an American tourist breaking through security and kissing Hitler, to Jesse Owens defying white supremacists with his record-breaking wins, provide the focus and much of the drama. This chronicle also considers the lives of ordinary Berliners, the women with a dark secret who a woman with a dark secret who steps in front of a train, the transsexual waiting for the Gestapo's knock on the door, and the Jewish boy fearing for his future and hoping that Germany loses on the playing field. During the games, the Nazi dictatorship was in many ways put on hold. Berlin 1936 offers the last glimpse of the vibrant, diverse life of the city in the 1920s and 30s that the Nazis aimed to destroy. And so I think that's going to be a nice look at basically just the culture of the city during these Olympic Games. So looking forward to that. Again, like I said, Peg is, she realizes I like sports stuff, and so she found another sports book for me. This is an advanced reader copy of a book that comes out in September of 2021. This is Brothers on Three, a true story of family, resistance, and hope on a reservation in Montana. This is by Abe Streep. So this is a basketball book. And again, coming out in September of 2021. And who is our... is it Celadon or Celadon Books out of New York? I'm not familiar with that publisher. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Maybe I got it right in one of the two ways that I that I pronounced it. But I'll read the back cover of this one too. Sounds really good. March 11th, 2017 was a night to remember. In front of the hopeful eyes of thousands of friends, family members, and fans, the Arley Warriors would finally bring the high school basketball state championship title home to the Flathead Indian Reservation. The game would become the stuff of legend, with the boys revered as local heroes. The team's place in Montana history would be cemented, but for starters Will Mestith Jr. and Philip Malater, life would keep moving on. Senior year was just beginning. In Brothers on Three, we follow Phil and Will, along with their teammates, coaches, and families, as they balance the pressures of adolescence, shoulder the dreams of their community, and chart their own individual courses for the future. Brothers on Three is not simply a story about high school basketball or about state championships and a winning team. It is a book about community, and it is about the boys on the cusp of adulthood finding their way through the intersecting worlds they inhabit and forging their own paths to personhood. So really looking forward to that. Again, I like my sports stuff, and that seems like it's probably a pretty inspirational book is what I am guessing on that. Next two books, they possibly are the two that I am the most excited about that Peg gave me. This first one is a biography by John Hardman. It is Marie Antoinette, The Making of a French Queen. And it's got a really nice cover. I love that cover. I think that's pretty cool. This is a Yale University Press from New Haven in London, and it is from the year 2019. So a fairly new biography on Marie Antoinette. Here's the end papers. It looks really, really cool. I love those end papers. And it's got some really good paintings and stuff in the middle. Pretty famous one right there. There's some more. And it's got several pages of those. So, yeah, I really look forward to reading this biography on the life of Marie Antoinette. This will help me in my world history class. It says, I'll read the inside cover of this one to you. It says, "Who was the real Marie Antoinette? Mistrusted and reviled in her own time, today she portrays as a frivolous princess incapable of understanding the events which engulfed her. But in this engaging account, John Hardman argues that neither version gets close to the truth. Drawing on new sources, Hardman reveals how Marie Antoinette played a significant and politically astute role in response to the crisis of the monarchy. She evolved into a queen who knew her own mind. She was embarrassed by the aggressive foreign policy of her brother Joseph II, bravely took over the helm from Louis XVI after the collapse of his morale, and when the revolution broke out, listened to the Third Estate and worked with repentant radicals to give the constitutional monarchy a fighting chance. For the first time, Hardman looks beyond Marie Antoinette's glamorous facade and tragic end to show how, in her own inimitable way, the French queen came to exert true influence and power." So again, really look forward to that. That's one of the two that I'm probably looking forward to the most. Here is the other one that I'm really looking forward to. This is called Backstage at the Lincoln Assassination, the untold story of the actors and stagehands at Ford's Theater, by Thomas A. Bogar. So that's a really cool cover too. I like that. Really looking forward to this book. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of anything Lincoln, and this looks to be a book all about everybody else other than Lincoln at the assassination, other than Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth. So this is from Regenry History. I know I just butchered that. I apologize. It's a 2013 book. Out of New York. Here's the end pages. Got a nice map of Washington, D.C. there. Got Ford's Theater prominently shown. And so let me read the inside cover. This flap is kind of bending on me. Kind of a pain. So anyway, it says April 14th, 1865. The shot heard round the theater. An actor pulls a trigger in the presidential balcony, leaps to the stage shouting, "Sic semper tyrannis," thus always to tyrants, and he escapes, leaving the president fatally wounded. In the panic that follows, 46 terrified stagehands, actors, and theater workers scatter from Ford's Theater. Soldiers take up stations by the doors, and the audience surges into the streets chanting, "Burn the place down!" This is the untold story of Lincoln's assassination, the story of what the backstage workers and onstage actors witnessed when President Abraham Lincoln was shot. The theater in which John Wilkes Booth committed the most infamous crime in American history was crammed, as usual, with actors, stagehands, doorkeepers, prompters, musicians, costumers, callboys, the whole multifarious crew required to put a play on the 19th century stage. Yet until the rich backstage history of that awful night was lain forgotten, the theater historian Thomas A. Bogar recovers those stories of lives forever altered or even shattered, and tells the full story of Lincoln's assassination in this exciting true-life thriller. You'll learn how John Wilkes Booth theater training helped him prepare for the assassination, why the police arrested and harassed dozens of innocent people but missed capturing the assassin or questioning his accomplices, how Booth was closely connected to the cast, crew of Our American Cousin, an ensemble of Confederate sympathizers, and what eyewitnesses saw when the president was shot and Booth leaped to the stage. Highly original, exquisitely detailed, and beautifully written, Backstage at the Lincoln Assassination not only draws back the curtain of an untold story of one of the most dramatic events in American history, but it tells of the aftermath and what happened to the eyewitnesses who worked in a live production that ended in death. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a great, piece of Lincoln biography there, and looking at everybody else that was involved sometimes gets overlooked. She also gave me a couple of magazines that I wanted to share with you. This first one's called Aspects of History. The Past Isn't Dead, It Isn't Even Past. So this is kind of a neat magazine. It actually has no pictures in it at all. It's nothing but articles and book reviews. And so this is going to be definitely something that, a history nerd like myself is going to like. I greatly appreciate this. Let's see, it's got Roger Morehouse interviews Ben McIntyre. It's got historical heroes, Saul David on George MacDonald Fraser. The 1914 Christmas Truce by David Boyle. I'm looking forward to reading through that. M19 and the Cockleshell Heroes by Helen Fry, and The Rise of Philip of Macedon by Adrian Goldsworthy, who was Agent Sonia. So this is the first issue of this magazine. It, as you can see, it's got a vast array of articles from throughout history, from recent, all the way into the past with, Philip of Macedon. That goes quite a ways back. So looking forward to that. She also shared with me an extra copy of Naval History from August. This is the August 2021 issue. So looking forward to digging into that. I read one article, the Gettysburg, the Navy Connections. I did read that, and it was good. But it's also got Breakthrough at Sicily, 43, the Marine Corps, Banana Wars, the U.S. Coast Guard's Alexander Hamilton routes, Acts of Valor, Navy divers. So I think this is definitely one of those where this one it'll be one I just dip in and out of. This one it'll be a cover-to-cover read where I'll just read everything in it. And so really looking forward to that. That's going to be good. So that is the mail haul from Peg. Thank you to Peg over at the History Shelf. I really appreciate you giving me these books. And then here are three others that I had not shown you yet that I had picked up. This first one is a sports book. It is Top of the World, the inside story of the Boston Celtics' amazing one-year turnaround to become NBA champions by Peter May. This book's in excellent, excellent condition. I got this from the library cart, and only cost me $1. I was pretty excited about that. It's from DeCapo Press, and it's a 2008 book. And I like my sports biographies, whether it's of a player or a team. Always excited to read these. And, you know, I don't know that I need to read the inside cover of that. I mean, I think the subtitle tells you it all. It's the big turnaround the Boston Celtics did to become world champions. And I liked the players that were involved on that team. Thought they were pretty entertaining. So another book that I picked up was by David Halberstam, and it's The Children. Okay? And this is basically, I believe, if I understood it correct, the civil rights movement. It says, on the first day of the sit-ins in Nashville, Tennessee, 8 young black college students found themselves propelled into leadership of the civil rights movement. As the movement and America entered a period of dramatic change, the courage and vision of these young people changed history. David Halberstam, a 25-year-old reporter, was assigned to cover this story. I'm not going to read the whole inside flap either, because that tells you what you need to know. So this is going to be an insider's view of the civil rights movement and the movements that the different things that happened during that movement. Pretty thick book, pretty heavy. It's from Random House out of New York. It's from 1998, so this would be from when I was in high school. But you know, you're talking a 783-page book with a handful of. It's got some photography in the middle there, some pretty famous shots that I have seen before. And there are some in here I have not. So quite a few pictures in the middle. Look forward to reading that. It's always good to see another view of that civil rights movement, very important movement in U.S. history. And the last book I have to show you is another one I picked up for $1. This is The Perfect Season. Why 1998 was baseball's greatest year, by Tim McGarver and Danny Perry. And I have already finished this book. I got it recently and I read it over the last couple days. Good book. Baseball fan. The baseball fan that I am remembers this season very, very well. This is the summer after my junior year and heading into my senior year of high school. This 1998 was a wonderful year for baseball. You had the home run race by Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, which takes up a good chapter in this book, and then it's referred back to throughout the book. But there are also, the chapters are all about individual players from that season and the magical things that happened during that season. Just a lot of records were either tied or broken throughout the season. You saw the New York Yankees win the World Series in just awesome fashion. They finished the year after the postseason was done 125 wins and only 50 losses. And that was just a tremendous effort put forward. I think they had an 11-2 postseason record, which is just unheard of. I remember watching the entire playoffs. Not that summer, that fall. I remember watching all of those, and so reading this was like a turn back the clock for me, because I remember a lot of this stuff happening. But it's got chapters on, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, the death of Harry Carey and Richie Ashburn, Kerry Wood, who had a 20 strikeout game that year, Mike Piazza, who moved from LA to New York and just did some huge things with his bat, David Wells, who threw a perfect game, Dan Quisenberry, who had passed away. It was kind of a tribute to him. Just all kinds of different players that did magical things throughout the season. I'll just keep it at that without reading off all the chapters. And then at the end of the book, it goes through the playoffs, the postseason, all of the division, the wild card, the divisional, the championship series, and then eventually the World Series. So excellent book. I recommend that. It's a pretty short read, only 270 pages. So you could get through it pretty quick. If you're a baseball fan, I highly, highly recommend it. This is 1998 was really, in my eyes and in the author's, as he talks throughout the book, a season that saved baseball and put baseball back into the limelight that it should have been in and should have never left, after the strike-shortened season earlier in the decade. So anyway, those are the books I've gotten recently, BookTube. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found some books that maybe you want to put on your own TBR. If you've read them, tell me what you think about them. Again, I've read a couple of them, as I shared and told you I've liked so far what I've read out of this stack. But tell me what you think. Have you read them? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Be sure to tell me why, so I can either get some expectations or maybe respond to that. So, BookTube, I hope everyone's having a great day. I know I am. It's my last day of freedom this summer. Tomorrow, teachers go back to school, and then we'll have kids next week in the classroom. So my summer is winding down. So I'm going to go up to school for a couple hours, and then I'm coming home to read this afternoon to enjoy my last afternoon before becoming a teacher again. So hope everyone else is getting lots of reading in. Until next time, happy reading.